What's happening, guys? Welcome back to another video, and this is one that I've been wanting to make for a while because over the summer I found something that's so cool I just had to talk about it. And if you collect retro games, this is also something you probably could really use. I'm talking about Minibox Gaming. But before we get into that, quick shout out to Into the AM. If you're looking for high quality merch with a clean look, they've got you covered. They sent me their tees and hoodies to try out, and I've been absolutely loving them. They look good, feel good, and if you want to try them for yourself, you can use my code JPS to save 10%. You can find it all at the merch tab on jampacksam.com. Now, back in July, I was invited down to Southeast Game Exchange, and it's one of my favorite weekends of the entire year. In fact, this is my third year going because I just can't get enough of it. The show is held in Greenville, South Carolina every year, and it's a combination of gaming culture plus collecting, and of course, they've got some panels along the way, and as a special guest, I got to do some really cool stuff. I interviewed Shelly Blonde and Daisuke Tsuji, two incredible voice actors and just really good people. Had a great time talking with them. I also got to do some game hunting, and of course, I've got videos for all of this stuff up on the channel if you missed that and want to go back to see what I was up to. But one of the coolest parts of an event like Siege is that you find talented people in the community that have a ton of passion, and they take that talent and that passion and come together to make something cool, which is exactly where the Minibox Gaming stuff comes in. I met these guys at their booth, and I say these guys because there were two people at the booth, but this business is run by one guy that takes the time to do custom prints of a ton of old games. We're talking NES, SNES, Atari, Neo Geo. And if these boxes look familiar and you're into the retro collecting / game collecting scene, you might have seen these on Metal Jesus Rocks, and I've been following Metal Jesus for years, one of my favorite YouTubers. I look forward to uploads every week from him, and he did an entire video where he got a ton of these boxes, I think over 150, to house his old games but keep the art on display. In the 80s, 90s, and 2000s, a lot of these cartridges just came in cardboard boxes, which was fine, and you can still maintain that and save them today. Obviously, there are things that are graded, mint, you can keep cardboard looking good. And then occasionally you'll have something like this, which is quite literally a dirty old bag of Game Boy and Game Boy Advance games, and most of these are actually from my childhood, so lots of nostalgia in this bag. Now, of course, there's nothing wrong with a cartridge like this. You've still got the art on the front, it still looks good, obviously totally playable, fine experience here, but if you're wanting something that you can display on a shelf to really pack in that nostalgia, this just doesn't really do it as well as it could. Box art is a big deal. It's the first impression for a game even today on PlayStation, Xbox, Switch, PC. The first thing that you're gonna see is that header image that kind of gives you the first impression of what you might be able to get from a game. And back in the day, that was even more important because you're going into a store to see what kind of new games they've got, and the one with the coolest art's probably going to be the one that catches the kid's attention, which is then going to catch the parents' attention whenever the kid's asking for the game with the cool art, and so it was way more important back then, so even more effort went into making them look cool. Even for something like Matt Hoffman's Pro BMX, which is by all means a kind of B-rate action sports game, but this art looked cool, and so people wanted to buy it because the art looked cool. If you just take out the cartridge, still looks cool, not nearly as cool though. And that's why I was so excited when I found Minibox Gaming at Siege, because they had Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, Matt Hoffman's Pro BMX, Frogger, and some Miss Pac-Man Special Edition, one of the GOATs right here. Fun fact about this game for me, I had it when I was a kid, I loved Miss Pac-Man on the Game Boy Color, and I took it to my grandparents' house, dropped it in the driveway, and I think that it sat there for roughly about 6 months before I came back, found it again, cleaned the dirt off, and it still worked. So the way they've got these set up is there's a paper print on the inside, and then this shiny plastic box on the outside that provides some structure. You can put these on a shelf or stack them in there, not gonna fall apart on you and just kind of collapse on each other. But what blows me away is how good the art actually looks, because you've got all of the color, all of the detail you would get from a full-sized Game Boy box back in the day, and nothing is lost by this being just a mini reprint that's put in a plastic box. It looks one-to-one of the original. I mean, you can even read the disclaimer print on the back, which I think is incredible. Obviously, no one's gonna read the disclaimer print, and no one really did back in the day. Don't tell the lawyers that, but the fact that they've got the detail down to that specificity is the stuff that I love to see. Now, going back to someone like Metal Jesus, his collection is way bigger than mine, and there are tons of people that have hundreds, if not thousands of games across the NES, SNES, handhelds, and those cartridges and the boxes that they came in can absolutely take up a ton of space. If you don't have a dedicated basement or a room for this kind of stuff, it can easily take over the house. And I mean, I say that as I sit in a room that's dedicated to being an office to make videos in, but hey, here we are. Which brings me to the second thing that I love about these Minibox Gaming boxes, and that's that you can still display the art on shelves without taking up a ton of space. Even if you're someone that just wants to display these stacked on a shelf with the spine showing, that little taste of the art is just enough to drive home the nostalgia. You've got a little pop of color, you can see what games you've got at a glance, and again, the integrity of the original box art is still saved. And the third thing that I love about the concept of Minibox Gaming is that if you do want to have more of the art in your collection, but you're not dedicated to getting the original boxes, this can actually save you a ton of money over time. Instead of going on eBay to hunt down an old Tony Hawk's Pro Skater Game Boy Color box, I have no idea if this is rare, by the way, this is just the first one that I grabbed. Minibox Gaming has these for $6.25 a piece. And that's if you buy 1 to 3. The price actually goes down the more you buy. And that goes all the way down to $4 a pop if you order a ton of them. And I'm thinking about the hardcore collectors that again aren't dedicated to getting the original boxes, but that do want that art in their collection. And you've got NES, SNES, some Atari, Neo Geo, Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Color. That can add up over time. And instead of having to track down all of that original art, you could just do one big order and get a box for everything you've got. And by the way, this video isn't sponsored by Minibox Gaming. I just absolutely love what they're doing here because the way they recreate these boxes and pack in so much color and so much detail to recreate that original experience is kind of unlike anything else that I've really seen just floating around at a convention. I'm just impressed with the quality and the nostalgia that these little boxes can deliver, because as someone who's a casual retro game collector, who's not going for the complete inbox and just really looks for good deals, I can then go and buy this box to relive the nostalgia of my mom bringing something like Miss Pac-Man Special Edition home from Kmart after she picked it up on a clearance sale, or finding a copy of Frogger at an estate sale whenever I was a kid. Whatever it might look like, being able to have these boxes on the shelf to glance at every day and then just open up and play the game is just on another level. Now, if you want to get some of these for yourself, I'll have Minibox Gaming linked down below, and they've got hundreds of games across Nintendo, Sega, Atari, Neo Geo. Basically, if you have a cartridge, you can probably find the box for it, and even if you don't, they do custom orders. So if you're a homebrew developer that wants some custom art for your custom game, they can probably hook that up. But hey, if you're new here, you like what you see and what you hear, hit that subscribe button for videos like this and gaming news shorts throughout the week to keep you in the loop. And if you've been sticking around for a while, I just want to say thanks, because this summer has been absolutely insane. We passed 60,000 subscribers here on the channel. I went to Southeast Game Exchange. I've been reviewing a ton of awesome tech that people have really been enjoying the videos on. Life's good. So I just want to say thanks if you've been sticking around, and I'll see you on the next one.